Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Solo Queue Hero Tournament number 4. Wow, we're on number 4 already in Toronto here. Pretty awesome stuff. Everybody's playing over at the Happy Turbo Cafe. My name is Frank. Alongside me is, why can't I think of the name? Goodness, I know your actual name. It's Lord Simo. Simo, how you doing? That's good. Me too. Actually, looking forward to a great game here as well, as it is going to be two kind of random mishmash teams. The format here is pretty awesome as we are moving forward here into game two. I'm sure everybody's kind of on their round two right now, but it is pretty impressive to see how these teams kind of come together out of nowhere and make things happen for themselves. They're making great team fights happen, as we saw in that last game. And of course, Tristana pick number one, Azir being banned, though my personal opinion is that Azir is actually going to be an atrocious champion. I don't think that he's going to be all that good. Not sure if Simo, you have any thoughts about that? I can't disagree with you, actually. I think that it's probably going to be the exact same as you just stated there. Very, very in-depth analysis, I have to say. We've got Jana as well as Caitlyn being picked up here. Caitlyn, not my favorite choice uh, against Tristana. I don't think that she's a very good choice because she just gets outscaled. Tristana's just going to outclass her come the later stages of the game, and she can be carried by a support. Her laning phase isn't that great. She has some decent kill potential with her abilities, but one second here. But yeah, the fact that she does get outscaled later, or that she outscales later, pretty much she outscales everybody other than Kog'Maw. I think Kog'Maw, the only champion that has longer range come the late game of Tristana. It's going to be awesome stuff. Mr. Simo, it sounds like you're back into this one. How are
Yes,
you feeling
yes.
about these choices so far?
I think it's these bans are pretty standard for the current meta. Nadali is banned pretty much through all of the world's games currently. And for Azir, as for Azir you were saying earlier, I heard online that he's very clunky right now. That if he were to be even a good champion, he needs to have a little bit of touch up, a little bit of rework. I like his idea, but he needs some work. He needs some work definitely.
Yeah,
As for
for
the
sure.
picks, I mean, Tristana's heavily contested. I'm not surprised that she's been picked up, but I'm surprised about that Graves.
Yeah. I mean, it is a solo queue tournament, so we're probably going to be seeing a lot of champions that we don't typically see, especially if you've got somebody that's got a really strong voice on your team. Whether they're low elo, high elo, it doesn't really matter. If they've got a strong voice, they might very well be dictating what some of these champion choices are. So you see like a Vigar come up right now, not currently in the meta, and if somebody has a strong voice and it feels really strongly that Vigar shouldn't be in the game,
Yeah.
you might see a switch. I mean, who knows? The dynamic of these teams, uh, de depending on, I think the biggest factor in these games isn't champion choices. I don't think it's mechanical ability. I don't think it's rank. I think it's synergy. I think it's social synergy because they're thrown together like out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. I really, do you know who the captains are of these teams, these two teams? Like, who's going to be the voice of bringing the teams together and grouping and taking the objectives?
Honestly, I don't think that it matters that much. By the looks of things, we're just getting word here. It's Expelliarmus and Dawnbringer are the two captains. But to be honest with you, I mean, who's to say that there's not going to be a bronze dude or somebody else that's on the team that just has a stronger personality? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't really matter who is titled the captain. If they believe something not to be true, then that's the case, man. That's what you got to go with.
So we are just waiting on the last pick for purple side, but we do see the Irelia and Wukong pickup. Irelia is still pretty contested. I mean, I think she still does very well in high elo, but Wukong he has kind of fallen off along with Pantheon because of lizard, um, the lizard item changes. But I think he's gonna lock in that Wukong.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Interesting choice. I know Wukong went through a bit of taking a beating from the Nerf bat recently, or in recent months, anyways. It was a little while ago that people stopped selecting him. But great team synergy if you can get in there, especially with the Lulu. Ooh, excuse me. Doesn't really have too much outside of that, though. I'll be honest with you. You can get that initial pop up if he lands it on a couple characters, holds them in place, allows for a second knock up if Lulu can ult. But outside of that, really having a wombo combo potential like Wukong and Lulu have, there's really nobody else that goes along with that. Syndra very single target, Aurelia very single target, as is Tristana.
Um, And to mention, for the purple side, we do see a lot of disengage. So it's going to be hard for Wukong to get into those tight places, to get into those grouped scenarios. Veigar could just put up his AoE stun. Anami could just, tidal wave back. Graves kind of kite away. Rise could just, put up his single target snare and kind of run away. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, it's going to be hard for Wukong to get in. But if they do, it's going to be really detrimental with the Lulu and Wukong combo.
Yeah. And I think actually, just because it is interesting to note where the certain matchups are. I know that if it's typically a lower rated team, things are going to start going, I think, more slowly towards the late game, and the objectives will be picked up slower. But because you have those dynamics happening just in individual lanes, it's going to be interesting to see how, just in terms of CS or things like that, that are coming out a little bit slower when they do join the teams. You typically think like, oh, it's a top lane that's going to be coming down and they're going to be absolutely massive. I'm pretty sure in this game, the two lowest rated players are going to be in the top lane. So might see a little bit lacking in terms of CS, might see a little bit lacking in other areas as well. But we'll see. Are they going to be able to have as much of an impact as a top lane typically should?
It kind of flew right over my head that this is Lulu's support, and I don't think I remember the last I've seen a Lulu support. She's been played a lot mid, a lot top, more top than anything else. But I'm really interested to see what the Lulu builds into. I mean, it's most likely going to be Frostfang, but I think it's still open for Talisman of Ascension, depending on what Lulu wants kind of the team synergy to be um, geared towards.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think she's gonna be able to fit right in with the comp that she has. Just in terms of getting some protection for Tristana. That's the other thing too. I'm sitting here thinking about how much potential there is for Tristana and Syndra with their single target burst, and then the wombo combo from Wukong. But if you just don't put Wukong in the back line, you don't put Aurelia in the back line, there is still some really good potential for a really nice peel comp as well. Tristana, I mean, super hyper carry. May as well take care of her.
Mhm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Um, but one thing I'm really looking forward to for this match, is for the Veigar Syndra matchup, because Syndra just bullies, bullies, and bullies. I've seen time and time again Syndra just completely taking control of a game and just running away with it, just completely nuking down enemy targets and just getting away with it. Or Veigar is really gonna put a stop to the Syndra rampage if he gets the stun off and just completely nukes her to death.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's gonna be fun to see how this one plays out, though, as we are loading into this one. It's Frank and Simo bringing you this game. There's a lot of pretty massive potential here. And actually, let me see here. It is Experlliarmus, yeah. So the team captains are the ones that are going to be in that mid lane. Though people who practice on Vigar are ridiculous, mainly with landing the W's and the E's. Those are horrifying abilities that if you can land those perfectly every time, it's just going to feel so bad as the enemy team. So we'll see, man. We'll see how this all plays out. I am also horrified for how much single target burst potential they have on this blue or red team. Graves, Vi,
Mhm,
Rise,
mhm.
Vigar. It is just atrocious.
I have to agree. I'm taking a look now to see. Of course, ranked doesn't tell us everything, but I'm just looking right now at the different champions and what these players main. And Dawnbringer doesn't really main Veigar, so it's gonna be kind of interesting to see against somebody who actually mains Syndra. I know that rank doesn't really tell everything, and he might be an incredible Veigar player, and he did have a great record on Veigar in the ranked game that he did play, 6-0 and 10. But we'll see how these guys play it out, and if they can surprise us with their plays. And we're just about to head now in about 2 seconds, right? We should
Yep.
be in the game now. Just gonna be loading in.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff, man. By the way, everybody's got to, I think, welcome Mr. Simo here. It's gonna be one of his first casts. I think you've probably casted a couple of times before this, but you're just kind of stepping into the scene. Have you been enjoying it so far?
Um, I tried out my first duo cast yesterday, and it was actually a lot of fun. Um, I am enjoying the scene, however, because um, I'm I'm hoping to open up like a lot more like casting potential, like try different types of casting that people don't normally use, because I've seen, at least from what my friends have told me, um and let's say like the FIFA scene or like the soccer scene or like the sports scene in general, they have really dry casting. At least not for hockey, but for more of the other sports, they have really dry casting. But I think that for esports, there's a huge door to open for like entertaining and like comedic and just incredible casting.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. And I'm glad that you're noticing the little nuances of our craft here. It's definitely a lot of fun to get into. And speaking of getting into, man, we're getting into
Let's
this
get
one
into
right
it.
now. Let's go. We've got Vagar with. Is that the final boss, Vagar? No, that's
No, it's not. It's
Welcome to
the
Summoner's
villain.
Rift.
villain Vagar. Yeah, always a good one. Always good to see some of the interesting skins that come out here. And actually, looks like Red Side gonna get a catch out onto Expelliarmus.
He returns with the ball there, with his Dark Sphere. And he's gonna recall. I mean, it's a good choice. And I think Aurelia is just gonna head to the top lane, as opposed to helping out with the red side buff.
Yeah, I don't. I think everybody's gonna back off here, and that's again, that's
30
one of the
seconds
signs
until
of solo
minions
queue, man.
spawn.
Is you can't get off those really nice synergistic plays. You just kind of got to go with the flow and see what your team wants to do. And if you argue with your team, you're probably gonna have a bad time. But we have it pulling out in this one, anyways. Nobody noticing that there's a ward there, but Lulu to Shizzle is going to possibly give away the fact that they see the enemy team.
I think that they're gonna back off. The retreat ping has come out. I think it's just gonna be a regular start. Red buff for Wukong
Minions have
and blue buff
spawned.
for Vi. And there's gonna be no invades. But it was close. I mean, if the ward wasn't in that tribush, I think we would have seen some fun level ones there.
We'll back off. Kind of a slow start here, as expected. And you were talking about what kind of build we're going to see from Lulu, and it's pretty telling here. Going for that Spell Thief's Edge, going to be looking for a
Hmm.
little bit more of a catch potential here. Though I'm personally a fan of Coin, I think it's just a ridiculous item and an activate in the late game. Instead of slowing down one or a few characters, you can speed up your entire team guaranteed. So kind of interesting to see how they're choosing or how she's choosing to go with that. But they will head down towards that bottom lane. Everything's starting up. I'm going to go ahead and switch my icons around so everybody's matched up as I can track the CS as they happen here. Top lane, going to be an exciting match as well. I'm looking forward to see who takes the advantage in that one. Oof.
Oh man, some of the harass in the bot lane going back and forth. Graves taking out some auto attacks. I really like Graves' passive in this situation because it's gonna make him a lot more tankier against the Lulu. And the Spell Thief's Edge won't do as much damage as, you know, it might with Graves' passive. But I agree with you on that Ancient Coin. It's guaranteed money. There's no way that you can miss out on the gold opportunities from Ancient Coin. Whereas Relic Shield and Spell Thieves, you know, in the late game, you're not really sometimes, especially for Relic Shield, you're not executing minions as much. And the harass is gonna go off. They're gonna continue the fight here in the bush. Exhaust coming out. Tristana. I think Lulu's gonna flash out here and take a bite of that biscuit.
Not bad.
Oh,
No, the flash
Graves
forward.
gonna nip the-
Oh, there we go. A turnaround here. Vanilla Rise gets dropped. Here we go. Moving forward, Tristana with another kill here as a double kill for Tristana. That is horrifying, and I apologize for jumping over you there. I was used to casting with Jackson there. Top lane, lots of damage too.
That was, I think that was almost too easy for Tristana. That was just smooth sailing. I really thought Lulu was gonna fall there, but great pickup from Tristana and kiting back as Lulu to kind of bait in that grave. And
All right, I'm just every time I see that ball come out in that mid lane there, it looks like Veigar forced to flash away. But yeah, beautiful stuff from Tristana, and you can see the power of that reset with the W, man. So much damage with the W. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be liking that free fed Tristana here.
Yeah, I think Vi's gonna need to come down and give bot lane some support because Tristana is obviously, everybody knows she's a late game carry, and if she gets started in the early game, that just spells bad news throughout the rest of 20, 30, 40 minutes that this game is gonna go. But it looks like Vi is gonna get ready in the bush at the top lane. Irelia a little bit low, but Vi will back off. Oh, or she's gonna stay. I don't know. But Irelia will recall, get some items, and be back. Oh, she's a little bit down CS as well, not being able to command that bot lane. I mean, top lane rather.
Yeah, and a nice turn here at the bottom as Bubble lands, and Graves slides forward, but so much damage. Perfect timing from Shizzle as well. You can see a pretty high caliber player on that support. Lulu just gets off that shield, negates a ton of damage coming out onto the Tristana, and they were able to turn that one around with a nice Q as well. Experlliarmus though getting ganked.
Vi misses the ball breaker and the AoE stun misses, but Syndra turns a little bit to give back some damage, but it looks like she might go for the kill to Veigar here. Vi continues to auto attack. The ball coming out, the ignite, and Vi will get that kill. Very well played. Even though they missed the CC, they still got the kill onto Syndra. That was just great job for Vi to continue the auto attack as Syndra was thirsty for that Veigar.
Yeah, really brutal stuff. I think just getting a little bit too ahead of herself there. She used her heal in the midst of that as well, but just didn't have enough damage. I think even if that last auto attack would have landed, it just wouldn't have been enough. And, you know, trying to get ahead of herself here, getting a little bit excited, thinking that she could pick up that kill, but now has thrown that one over to Vi, and the assist for Veigar is going to put him a little bit ahead of the Syndra as well. Pretty rough spot to be in. Meanwhile, top lane, you were saying a little bit behind for that Aurelia. Looks like a lot of bit behind now. 31 to 18 CS. Tier already up and running. Once he gets that catalyst, I don't doubt that he's going to just be beating on that Aurelia.
Yeah, I must say that Ryze does very well against melee champions. I know that he does very well against Renekton, and I'm not surprised he's doing very well against Aurelia. But, I mean, I really want to give... Oh my god, they're harassing the ball lane. But Aurelia's going to go in onto the top lane there, but he's going to back off. There's too much damage from Ryze's overload there.
Nasty, nasty stuff. And it looks like Syndra here just rolling out the damage here. And she has her ultimate ready. If there's enough balls on the field here, she will land that ultimate and just drops him. That's the potential from both of these two mid laners. Just kills out of nowhere.
Syndra is in the mid lane farming up. She is a little bit low on mana, and I think Vi wants to kind of squeeze in there, but she's sitting right on top of the ward. Oh my god. Scatter of the week stopping the ball breaker, but Vi's gonna just... Oh my god. And then top lane, Aurelia is gonna go in onto Ryze, but it does look like she's not gonna... Oh, the Ryze flash overload taking down Aurelia. Oh my god. But the Wukong coming into the top lane, he doesn't have his ult, so I don't know why are you going in there, buddy. But he does manage to get her alive because Ryze's flash is down. Wow.
Crazy fights happening here, and you can see the potential of Ryze in lane and why he's starting to make kind of... It's like his 5th comeback in terms of being in the meta here. He was in it for a long time, and they fell out of it with some of the new kind of tanky melee meta coming through. And actually, that's when Aurelia was just coming to shine as well. Then he gets out of it, gets back into it with CLG comps, and then he's back out and back in. Just crazy stuff for the kind of roller coaster that he's been on here. Meanwhile, Experlliarmus fighting Dawnbringer here, just picking up that pink ward, so confident in the mid lane.
The ult is down for Syndra, so I don't think she can make too much out of this. Just gonna harass Veigar back to his turret, so he's gonna have to safely farm. But I think Vi's gonna try to set up a gank here in the ball lane. Ball breaker charging up. The bubble does land, but the ball breaker doesn't go in. Vi's gonna be late to the party. Exhaust coming out to the mana. Ryze is gonna teleport into the ball lane, and that's gonna be dead Tristana if I've ever seen one. A little bit overkill for the Ryze teleport, but I think this might be a dragon. Oh my god, I missed what's happening there.
That's okay, man. You blink and you miss the kills in the mid lane there. Syndra's so good. Watching this Syndra play is actually ridiculously impressive. So confident, has not been hit by a single Vigar stun. But this is going to be a dragon going down here. They're going to exchange this for a big push potential up in that top lane. They will take the first lead of the game for Red Team. And it looks like Aurelia only going to be able to get this turret down a little bit below half HP. She should stay up there, though, and just keep pounding down as the teleport is down for Ryze, and Syndra sees him.
I think she's just going to try to poke him down a little bit, but I do want to mention that for blue team, the carries are fed. We've got Syndra, we've got Tristana. They are, you know, they're going to start spiraling out of control. Whereas for purple side, I don't always know if getting your jungler fed is as effective as getting your carries fed. I think I've seen in one of the Worlds games, Lee Sin was completely fed out of control, or I think it was one of the NA games, but it didn't happen anything for the nothing happened for the late game with a Lee Sin fed.
Yeah, and not to mention, it's kind of a fickle lead that you have in the jungle. The enemy jungler could just out of nowhere start getting ganks off and be more effective, or you could farm a little bit better. Meanwhile, top lane, just going deep here. Ooh.
Transcendent Blades kind of doing some damage to Ryze, and I think they will be kind of on equal footing there, which is good for Aurelia because that means that she's gonna want to go in here. She misses the Equilibrium strike, and I think Vi's gonna just pick up this kill. If she can catch up, she doesn't have Assault and Battery. I don't know. Oh my god. Aurelia kind of stutter step there, trying to hope that she can stun Vi, but wasn't enough.
No, the red buff picked away there. And bottom lane, actually, fight breaking out here as well. In they go. Graves going deep here. Nice Lulu ultimate and exhausted in the turn fight here as they will run away in this bottom lane.
I think Nami has a bubble that she might want to bring out here. The harass continuing onto Graves. Tristana jumps in. Buster shot used, but it's not going to be enough to finish. She flashes in to finish the kill. She gets the kill onto Graves. Wukong coming in to continue the fight, but he's not going to be able to get Nami at the right time, but Tristana's going to continue auto attacks, and the potion's going to allow Nami to kind of survive there. Mid lane turret has fallen as well for Syndra.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not surprising. Yeah, Syndra's been pounding away on that thing. The amount of auto attacks that she's landed this game as well, whether it's on Vigar or whether it's on the turret, super impressive. She has just been chiseling away and just harassing with the auto attack. Not something you typically see from a Syndra or really just any champion that has the range on their abilities like Syndra has. Vigar, though, stepping down towards the bottom lane. Vi is there as well. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this one off, but they're going to head in anyways.
Recalling right on the ward, Lulu will sacrifice herself in case Vagar's going to come in. He misses his... but he does end up getting the kill, but he does kind of overshoot his Dark Matter. He wouldn't have needed to use his ultimate there, but... I mean... But Syndra in the top lane gonna ult Ryze. Oh my god, these plays just all over the map. These teams are going back and forth, even in kills. But blue team is ahead by 600 gold, and it's gonna be even more with this turret falling.
Yeah, really good stuff. Great push, and you can see Experlliarmus, I think, you know, captain of his team. We were mentioning before, maybe it's not going to be the captains having the voice, but it does look like, in fact, that is the case here. Rotations from both mid laners who are the captains of their teams, making plays happen. Vigar in the bottom lane picks up a kill, picks up some nice ganks, and then turns it into a turret. Top lane, excuse me, Syndra goes up there, turns that one into a kill and a turret. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's really tight already, 6-6 and in the 18,000s for gold for both of these teams. I am really looking forward to the rest of this game.
As am I. I do think that if purple team does get some picks onto the Fed champions, they will just completely slingshot themselves over blue team just completely. But as for now, blue team is controlling this game very well. Of course, sacrificing some picks in other lanes. They are creating opportunities in other areas of the map, like we talked about before, the top lane falling down. But I think maybe if Vagar creates a few more opportunities for themselves and participates in ganks with Vi. Oh, but it looks like the bubble's gonna land onto Lulu. Dark Matter coming out, the area effect stun coming on as well. Wild Growth used onto Lulu, and blue team's not gonna follow up with this kill. But Vi continues to chase with the ball breaker. He does have Assault and Battery, but being nuked. completely. Wukong with his ult as well, coming in with Cyclone. The bubble coming out, getting launched. Oh my god, this is going out of control. The heal to move up the speed. Scatter the weak landing. Oh my god.
That was a wild fight there. Master of Darkness leading the charge on that one. But Experlliarmus, I swear, man, if we could go back and just look at how accurate he was with everything, you can see he's continuing to just be perfect with the placement of his spells here. Lands the stuns as he needs it. Looks like amazing DKO getting in here, trying to kill Master of Darkness. Not going to happen. He will get dropped, and this is going to be a turret conversion.
If this was bronze, they would continue with the inhibitor, but it's not. The AoE ulti coming out, and Tristana gets completely deleted. That's
Wow.
a good catch for Veigar. That's a good catch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and one of the important things I wanted to note as well is the fact that in the beginning of the game, I had mentioned that the two top laners are actually the lower ELO on both teams. So if a lead happens, it's not going to be that big of a lead. And regardless of, you know, if they're crushing that lane, you know, by their own kind of perspective,
Yeah.
it's not going to be that huge when they step out of lane. Ryze right now, really significant advantage, but because his CS is low by comparison to just the general numbers that you want to hit in terms of CS, he's not going to have that much of an influence on this game. Whereas Syndra, Tristana, really high caliber players, their leads are immense, and they're keeping up to the minute mark.
You're absolutely right. I think Aurelia's in the bot lane, like you said, trying to catch up on that farm, and she is kind of keeping up with Ryze. She's almost going to be there. Like, you know, she's just about 15 CS off. Ball breaker coming out into Lulu, and she's going to back off just to get a little bit of harass. You know, zone out from the pink ward. And Dragon, as we kind of missed over just a few minutes ago, Dragon did go to red side. They had the opportunity to take it, warded up, and just took the Dragon. That's going to put purple team back in the game. They caught up in their gold lead. Oh, they caught up in gold a little bit, but blue team is maintaining their gold lead. Veigar gonna try and bait out the Syndra here, so Vi can use Salt, but I think Syndra knows what's up.
Yeah, she's going to be backing away from this one. And Ryze, it's always so sad seeing a Ryze try to push down the lane and crack a turret. He has no advanced damage. But in we go. Speaking of damage, it's going to be Vi catching out Tristana here. But yeah, he gets, with AP, if you have a lot of AP on a champion, they'll do a lot more damage to turrets, for anybody who doesn't know that. But with Ryze and built mana, in we go with the fight.
Oh my god, the bubble's not Syndra. The fight, but the ball breaker killing Tristana, assault and battery that shut down that Syndra. Very well played by Vi, but I wish that she gave out some kills to her teammates. But the stun coming out from Veigar, they're going to continue to chase onto Aurelia. She goes in, Wukong completely missing his entire ult. They're going to continue the auto attack and use their spells onto Wukong. He does fall as well. This is looking real good from the red side.
Yeah, and you know, I call that kind of phenomenon when people go in one at a time there. After somebody gets caught, they're trying to defend the corpse, and it's like a big factory line. I call it factory lining into the enemy team. It's just producing kills for the enemy team because you're not sure what you're supposed to do, especially a solo queue. If there was one guy that was, you know, calling the shots, he would easily just say, guys, don't go in. I'm dead. It's fine. We can sack a turret. It's my fault. We're going to move on. Because if they wouldn't have sacrificed all those kills, blue side would still have the lead right now. But it's trickling in one at a time, big factory line going down there. And now a lead for red team. I think one of the first leads of this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mentioned earlier that I thought that with Vi having all of the gold on her team, that she wouldn't be able to make plays, that she would kind of fall short. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. But she's been doing really well with her lead so far, and she's been making these plays for her team and staying alive.
Yeah, doing a great job there. And again, I agree with you too. I really doubted that she'd be able to drop people as quick as she has been. One of the problems I do see, though, is that if she gets focused down, I mean, Veigar, Graves, Ryze, they feel like better targets to go after. But when you look at the scoreboard, 6-1-1, and, you know, 59 CS, some of those are going to be big creeps from the jungle there. You kind of got to start changing your perspective on things. She's not tanky. She's going to be an easy target to burst. I think Syndra, or Experlliarmus here, is going to start reconsidering the target selection and maybe switch over to that jungle.
I call that Teemo syndrome. Because no matter if there's a Teemo on the map, you're gonna focus him. It doesn't matter who's fed, you want to kill that Teemo.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, you know, you got to start reconsidering things here. The one thing that's impressing me a lot from Red side is their ward coverage. Look at that top side of the map. Really, really good stuff. Meanwhile, to Shizzle, going deep here.
Using the blue buff, the teleport coming in from Rise. Wild goes to Wukong. He gets Vi hosting the Tristana. Vi in the backline, killing all the carries while Wukong goes by himself. Oh my god. They're going to continue the chase. Syndra does not have her ult. She can continue the fighting. Aurelia coming in to clean up. She can get some resets here. But dodging the ball breaker, she will fall with, but the ball does miss. And so does Scatter the Weak. Vi might be able to get out. She needs to just keep running. You got this. You can make it out. But the flash coming out and getting the gold for Aurelia.
So in the end, an even fight, and if we're going to have a highlight reel, Jesus, that it better be on there. That was unreal coming out of the Syndra there. Not only that flash to dodge the Vault Breaker near her Wraith camp there, but the stun, the 4-man stun with Scatter the Meek. Oh my god. That Syndra, Jesus, played that so well. And then Aurelia actually got in there. Got in, got a kill, got out, allowed for an extra little bit of peel there from the Vi. Beautiful stuff there, I gotta say. One of the more impressive plays I think I've ever seen in a solo queue tournament. I know we had Red Mercy pop in some crazy plays as well one of the first times around, but damn, that was good. And I'm just looking forward to this game, man. 33,000, both of these teams.
It's really close, and I'm surprised it's so close because of the opportunities that Tristana and Syndra have made for themselves. I would think that it would be like, you know, 43 and 34, you know? I thought it would be like a crazy lead, but, you know, Red Team's still clawing their way back in. It's really, really close. But that fight I thought was completely going to go into favor of Red side, because Vi was in the back line, you know, doing what she was supposed to do, attacking the back line, and Wukong was all alone, getting focused down by the Red side.
Yeah. Not good, man. Not a good situation to be in. Dragon's going to be up in 10 seconds. And you can see Red Team, this is the second time in a row that they've had this timer down spot on. They're grouping around that buff, and I think the only reason Blue Team is here is because Red Team is there. They're just kind of coaxing them over. We're about to see a big fight break out, though. I feel a lot of tension in this one. Where's that Vigor stun? What's going to go down here?
Cyclone pop by Wukong. That's going to be a really bad cooldown for this fight. Red side being a lot more confident. We're gonna completely chunk Wukong down to, you know, 1/4 of his health, and they're gonna start fighting the dragon. Pink ward in the pit to know if they're gonna be coming in. Pink ward in the bush too, and it looks like the dragon will go. Stun on Shanna. She's gonna get used down by the Veigar Dark Matter and Primordial Burst. Rise coming in, flashes in. The wave coming out is gonna hit Lulu. Lulu's gonna get Assault and Battery. The bubble coming out. They're gonna get the kill onto Lulu and back off. Wild was used onto Syndra. I'm pretty sure she meant to use that on herself. But great control from Red side.
Yeah, that was wild. I think one of the things that I've been looking at for the last little while here is the Wukong and how effective he's been with his ult. Clearly that was a mistake. I don't think he had meant to do that unless he, for some reason, saw the enemy ward and thought that it was an enemy character. That could be what the case was. But the fight previous to this one as well, the one with Syndra making all those plays, Wukong actually didn't hit anybody with his ultimate. Literally nobody. He started ulting and everybody just spread around him and just kind of beat on him. And I think that's been the case throughout this game. If he can land a decent ultimate, I think we're going to see a much different fight. Though right now, 3,000 gold in the lead out of nowhere for the Red side.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think Syndra has to do to turn these fights around and really start carrying her team? Because, I mean, Wukong's really been kind of messing up, and I want to know what Syndra has to do to help.
Honestly, it comes down to the social aspect of it. Who's going to be making those shot calls? Yes, I mean, I think Syndra is almost without fault this game. Very, very few mistakes made in this one. She was caught the one time, but it was her team that piled in after she was dead, and I think it's because of that loss of leadership. As soon as he goes down, you know, that's team captain, top-rated guy on the team, clearly doing the best in this game. Once you lose that, what do you do after that? You gotta make those shot calls. You gotta get in there, and I think if she can do damage to start the fight. I mean, you saw the pick she made on early in the game. Here we go, with
Just
the
like you were
fight.
saying, here we go.
There we go. Oh, slowed down.
That was just, that was the biggest cock block I've seen so far in a tournament. They were like you were saying, you know, Syndra needs to start with the damage, and she started with the damage. They were going in. Wukong flashed with the Cyclone, but it got completely denied by the Veigar.
Trying to get that distance poke. And you can see, man, she is just spot on. That's a hard ability to land. And I think it is the longest range stun in the entire game. So for her to be landing that time and time again on 1, 2, 3, 4 champions, that is really, really impressive. And I'm looking forward to see if she can pull out these plays. Though it looks like blue team getting caught out a little bit out of position here. 4-man push in the mid lane here. The communication you can see from red side, pretty spot on right now.
I think this may be a base race. Red side is a little bit indecisive if they want to recall here. But they're going to be pushing 2 waves versus 1. Lulu kind of caught by herself. She knows that this is the right place to be. Blue side going to continue their push, but red side's going to back off. The teleport used onto the turret. They're probably going to get the kill on the Ryze down with Syndra's ult. And they're going to get this turret. They're going to continue for the inhibitor, but red side's going to do the exact same. This will be just a trade of inhibitors. But blue side's going to continue with the base race. I think Tristana can chunk down these turrets a lot faster than red side can.
Yeah, but it's 2 at a time. Again, it's that factory line that I was talking about here. And you can see spectator camera just jumping back and forth here. Veigar with the stun. What's going to happen here? Simo, we're right on the cusp of this game here. Crazy flag.
Oh
There's the
my
ultimate.
God.
Dawnbringer, so good.
That was the longest range primordial burst I've ever seen in my life. But Fi's gonna continue the push while blue side retreats.
Yeah, and push gang.
The Cyclone manages to land and cleans up. Aurelia kind of stuck in, Malcolm in the middle. But Ryze coming up, gets the kill onto Wukong. Aurelia gonna continue the kill. Tristana just going so ham. Might as well open up a meat shop, gets the double kill.
Oh my god, and Veigar, the action in this game is ridiculous. Blue side getting the worst of these exchanges. Dawnbringer, though, has to find himself in a better position to be able to defend. It's an Aurelia and an AD carry here, Tristana, trying to make that push in a Nexus turret per team, and in the end, go figure, they walk away with the exact same gold lead as they stepped into it with. Crazy game, probably going to be one of the best games in this tournament. I kind of hope not. If the quality of the games increases from here, we only have, better things to look forward to. Crazy, crazy stuff. 1 Nexus turret apiece for both teams. But in the end, I would much rather have a bottom inhibitor turret or bottom inhibitor down than a mid inhibitor. Much easier to defend the mid lane if you're going to be making a Baron attempt.
You're absolutely right, because then they can just peel off from the mid lane and contest for that Baron. Whereas, you're going to have Ryze in the bottom lane without teleport. This might be a Baron contestation after they push down the mid lane, because they are pushing down the mid lane now. So this might look a little bit, wonky for red side. But they also went away with almost the same turret count too. I mean, that base race was pretty much equal, I would say. But I think blue side got a lot more kills out of that.
Yeah, and now blue team is grouped. Ryze, not with the team. He doesn't have teleport off the cooldown either, so they're going to just be forced to be backed up here. Lots of pink wards for the red team. They've got a ward in the back of the Baron pit as well, and that's an important thing to note. They will be able to see if a Baron is attempted here. Don't doubt that there's going to be a pink ward or at least a lens popped here to try to clear out that Baron area and force a team fight. But I don't know if I'd want a team fight, man. Ryze right now is horrifying. I do not want to see, that Ryze up against me if I'm a Tristana or the Syndra here. Syndra, though, needs that blue buff. She's a little low on mana right now.
They see Ryze in the bottom lane and they think they're going to pull the trigger. Experlliarmus really has to, make these calls. Like you said, the lens was popped and they're going to start focusing down this Baron. Nami and Veigar are kind of chilling around Dawnbringer and DJ Lee. The ward has been put into the Baron pit. Vi's going to come. I hope she can steal this. The wave does come out. He does miss the spike and the wall breaker. Oh my god, that was so close.
If the vault breaker went, that's an easy Baron steal. One of the easiest Baron steals I may have ever seen. And for the second time in this game, Vault Breaker over the wall just fails. You need to charge that thing and get it ready. You can hold on to it for a little while. Decides, it's not going to work out. And in the end, and you know what? Another thing, too, one of the great plays from kind of LCS level is to just stop DPS on Baron. Clearly, these teams have not been practicing for calls like that. As the Vi player there, I would have charged it a little bit longer. But in the end, c'est la vie. That's going to be a Baron for blue side. The gold count super even right now. They're attempting to take Dragon to even things out or get that lead up a little bit more. Only 1,700 now, where it was 3K a little while ago here. Simo, I think we've got a ridiculous game on our hands. Any predictions moving forward?
I really want to kind of root for the underdog here, the blue side. Experlliarmus has won my heart since the beginning of the game. With all those plays, with all those 2v1s. I think blue side might take it. They do have the Baron. They just got to make the calls here. But Master of Darkness is bronze 4. So I don't know what we can expect that much. The Smite steal was expected, but hopefully he can surprise us with some nice cyclones and some, hopefully he doesn't press R by accident. But we'll see what happens.
I'll keep my eye on him. I'll make sure that he doesn't do that. But I definitely agree. And here's the thing that I was talking about. And actually, in the last game, first game of the tournament, I always like to mention in these solo queue tournaments, you see some of these players, and it's such a great format. You see some of the lower tier players start to realize what it really takes to be better at the game. They can see clear mistakes. How easy would it have been for Wukong to notice he missed that smite by a ridiculous amount? From that, he can learn. Versus in a solo queue game, there's so much action, and the action is so balanced that you don't really notice your mistakes, and it's so hard to criticize yourself when you know everybody around you is the same level as you. They're not better than you, they're just the same level. Here, though, there's somebody on his team probably going, we could have lost that. Here we go with the fight, though.
Stun comes out, but, Primordial Slash not coming out from Syndra. Rygar missed that opportunity. 4-man Cyclone, let's go, bronze 4. Continuing the chase, Wukong gets the kill on Tsunami. Assault battery onto... Oh my, I think that's a game if I've ever seen one. Tristana jumps in. I think this is a Vasily in the making, gets the double. And the GG coming out from amazing DKO and the whole team.
Yeah, and you know what? I gotta ask, do you think that you're gonna see the same mistakes from the Wukong that came out this game? Do you think you're gonna see them in the next one? Nope. And do you think you're gonna see them in the game after that? Definitely not. This guy is learning, and he turned ulting a bush into ulting a 4-man team to really, that ultimate turned it into a 5 for none. He was the guy who led the charge there. Forced Vi into the back lane. The 4 people in the back picked him off. Perfectly executed. And Lulu with the ultimate onto the Wukong as well. Got that synergy down that I was talking about in Champion Select. Really came through in the end. And this lead that they have at the end here is one of the first leads that they had in a long, long time. But that's all it takes. One good team fight. Whoever has the better synergy at the end, it's the communication that will win this tournament. Beautiful game. Beautiful game.
It was. I hope that the games after this are just as good, if not better. I want to see some tension. I want to see some action. But Syndra, Graves, Wukong, Aurelia, everybody on both teams definitely brought the heat. And I want to congratulate Blue Team on their win. It was a hard-fought one, but we made it. Team Blue, I got you. Don't worry.
That was wild, man. I don't know. We'll see, though. Hopefully the other team doesn't get too demoralized. They're going to be able to look at their mistakes and pick it up and hopefully move forward to a point where they're able to maybe pick up a couple of wins in this tournament here. I definitely think the superstars were the Tristana in the late game. Wukong, I gotta say, really not very impressive early, but man, he turned that one around. Rise as well, a big superstar in that one for me. Kind of got caught out though, and it was just you can't as a Rise or as anybody really, you can't take on a team that's just meshing. You can't do it. Lulu played pretty well as well, but clearly Syndra, that laning phase, just ridiculous. Had a pretty rough mid game, but oh my god, the lane phase. I picked up a couple things I'm going to put into my kit, and hopefully you guys are learning from this as well. My name is Frank. We got, I Simo. God, I want to keep. For some reason, I want to call you Siru for some reason. Simo alongside. Great game. I think we're gonna go on a quick break before we move into the next one.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on.
And we'll
All
see
right.
you guys later. We'll be
GG.
back in a few.